Hello there. This is Matthew Corbett speaking, and I'm going to read you a story called Sooty's Magic Tricks. Hope you enjoy it. Here goes. Sooty, Sweep and Sue were very excited when an invitation to a weekend in the country arrived in the post. "It's from old friends of Matthew's," said Sooty. "We'll have to be on our best behaviour. Matthew says the shuttlecocks move in very high circles." "What does that mean?" asked Sue. "It means," said Sooty, "that they're very grand. So grand that there will even be maids to unpack our suitcases." Sue was already planning which dresses she should take. "Do you think they dress up for breakfast?" she asked. "No," said Sooty. "But," he added, looking at Sweep, "I think they might like us to use a marmalade spoon instead of a paw." Sweep decided to change the subject. "I think we should pack at once," he squeaked. The three friends got their suitcases out from under their beds. Sue packed lots of frilly dresses so that she could change 3 times a day if she wanted to. Sweep was worried about the food. "Do you think they're too grand to have bones?" he squeaked. He packed an extra large, juicy one just in case. Sooty watched them both. Then he had an idea. "I'll wait until you've finished before I pack," said Sooty. "There will be more room." Sweep and Sue shut their cases and tied on labels with their names and Rackett's Hall on them in large letters. Sooty waited until they had left the room, then he swapped the labels. Sweep would arrive with lots of frilly dresses, and Sue with a large bone. What would the shuttlecocks think when the maids told them? Sweep was still worried about the food. He decided to pack a tin of corned beef as well, just in case. He was about to open the bedroom door when he heard Sooty laughing to himself. He knew what that sound meant. Sooty was up to something. Sweep peered through a crack in the door just in time to see Sooty tying on the last label. He rushed off to tell Sue. At last, Sweep calmed down and stopped squeaking for long enough to tell Sue what he had seen. "I might have known Sooty would try and spoil our weekend," said Sue. "That bear has no breeding." "We must change the labels back," squeaked Sweep. "Yes, we must," said Sue. "And we must teach Sooty a lesson." "I finished packing," said Sooty some time later. "Good," said Sue, "because we want you to go and buy some chocolates for the shuttlecocks. I can't go because I'm drying my nails. And I've got to bury a bone for coming home," squeaked Sweep. "All right," said Sooty, who enjoyed buying chocolates. "Go to the special shop in town," said Sue, "and ask for a big box with a ribbon." When the music stops, turn your cassette over. That's the end of side 1. As soon as Sooty had gone, Sweep and Sue rushed off to the bedroom. The first thing they did was to change back the labels on their suitcases. "What a relief!" squeaked Sweep. "Yes, but we haven't finished," said Sue. She opened Sooty's suitcase and took out his neatly packed clothes. Then she repacked them carefully, adding some surprises between the layers. "Oh!" squeaked Sweep when he saw what she was doing. Sooty, Sweep and Sue were met at the station and driven to Rackett's Hall. The car swept up a long drive, past a swimming pool and tennis courts. Lord and Lady Shuttlecock were waiting on the steps to greet them. "So glad you could come. Matthew has told us so much about you." Out of the corner of her eye, Sue could see their cases being taken off to be unpacked. Sooty, Sweep and Sue had been given rooms which led off one another. Sooty had been put in the middle room, which was called the jungle room because it had wallpaper patterned like snakeskin and a tiger rug. The maid put his case on the bed and opened it. She had just lifted Sooty's pyjamas off the top when a large bunch of flowers made of feathers sprang open in front of her. "Strange," thought the maid, "but this room always makes me nervous." The maid lifted off the next layer of Sooty's clothes. "Ah!" she cried as a long snake jumped out at her. She stamped on it, and it squeaked. "Squeak, squeak, squeak, squeak." As she tried to stuff the clothes back in the suitcase, a frog leapt out. Hanging over the side of the suitcase, she could see a spider, so large that it had knees. The maid rushed out of the room and ran, screaming, down the corridors. Sooty was in disgrace. He kept saying that he had no idea how the things had got inside his suitcase. "I sometimes use them when I'm giving a magic show," he said. "Anyway, they're only made of rubber." But it was no use. The maid had locked herself in the broom cupboard for 2 hours until she was persuaded it was safe to come out. Sooty didn't feel welcome. He wanted to hide himself away. Rackett's Hall had the perfect place, a maze in which it was very easy to lose yourself, and not so easy to find the way out. Sooty went for a long walk in the maze. By the time he found his way out again, he was feeling much better. "I've had an amazing idea," he said. Lord and Lady Shuttlecock and all their guests were sitting in deck chairs on the lawn. They were beaming from ear to ear. Sooty, helped by Sweep and Sue, was putting on the best magic show they had ever seen. "My next trick," Sooty was saying, "is even more fantastic." "I'm so glad we asked, Sooty," said Lady Shuttlecock. "Yes, my dear," agreed her husband. "That little bear certainly knows how to liven things up." The titles of the stories available in this series are as follows: Sooty's Painting Trip, Sooty's Birthday Surprise, Sooty's Magic Tricks, and Sooty Buzzes Off. I hope you enjoyed reading and listening to the story on this cassette. I know you'll enjoy the others in the series. This is Matthew Corbett saying, bye-bye, everybody. Bye-bye.